This is the MIDCONVO podcast with Paul and Edward Lee. This man right here, we're about to be talking about something that he went through over the last 6 months.
Guys, I've been in a 6-month hiatus because I've been recovering from emotional damages. But we're here to unpack it today.
I think we're going to title this episode, Don't Leave Your Gear in the car. In the car.
Oh my guy. It hasn't even been that long.
I know a lot of us are probably wondering, if you follow Edward Lee on Instagram, what did it look like when you got all that gear stolen from your car?
RIP.
This past winter, and we're about to get into it. We're going to hear what was recovered, how it happened, and then how you're feeling, man.
And some takeaways. I mean, like community-wise too, some takeaways, because obviously this season is about building with others, and I have some thoughts on that. Obviously, I'm not one to sob story necessarily.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool to see some of my findings when that situation happened. But yeah, we're gonna unpack today in this episode how I got $30,000 to $40,000 worth of camera gear stolen, like pretty much everything. Couldn't even cook on a potato if I wanted to, because that probably got stolen too. Let's roll that intro music, bro.
Edward, it was, I can't remember what day of the week it was. You probably know the date, but I got a FaceTime call.
It was like a weekday.
I got a FaceTime call because we talk quite frequently. And you had this look on your face, and you were outside. In Miami, it's always nice, but in Seattle, it was freezing in the winter.
Dude, it was cold. It was so cold.
And you were outside your car in a parking lot, and I could tell based on your breath that it was like 10 degrees.
It was very cold.
And you were like, bro, someone just stole all my gear from my car. And I remember in that moment, I'm like, oh my gosh. I've been in positions where I've left like just simple stuff in the car. And I'm like, I'm just going to go in real quick and grab like a bite to eat. It's fine. I'll hide under the chair. But like, let's first tee up this. Where did this happen? And like, paint this picture for us.
All right. So basically, what happened was, still recovering.
Yeah.
What happened was, I had a production, like a pretty full day production on like a Wednesday, I'm pretty sure. And my car was loaded to like the brim. Like I had everything in there, bro. Like I usually don't even carry all that stuff with me to shoots. But I had like sliders, lights, all like 2 Pelican
What
cases,
camera bodies were in there?
FX3, A7 IV, cinema camera, like
Wow.
Everything was in there. And essentially, I came home really late from this production. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And I usually always unload my gear, but I was dead tired, bro. I came home late at night.
That's super late.
I was dead tired. I was like, the last thing I want to do right now is like unload my whole car with all this gear. And so I just went inside, but I took my backpack because, you know, I got to dump footage.
Yeah.
Like at the very minimum,
Grab the
you
laptop.
got to dump footage. And so I at least dumped footage when I came inside, and I took my laptop and my files and the SD cards. The next morning, I usually wake up pretty early to go to the gym, and then obviously sometimes I go to work right after that too. But I was going to the gym, and
After you did the Saratoga water face dunk.
no, after I woke up at like 3 a.m. and did like a little bit of a sauna sesh and like, yeah, rubbed my face with a banana. No, but like literally, I woke up and was like, I'm just gonna go to the gym. And I can figure out my gear like after.
Yep.
After this after I have to work again. And so I was like, I'll just go and not unload. Fat L, dude. At that moment, I done messed up. I went to the gym, came out. It was like dark, you know. This is like time of year where it's like holidays, so it's like, I think it was just like a bad parking lot, to be honest. And that's not on me, because I was that guy, bro.
Was there a moment when you were getting out of the car to go in the gym? You were the buddy or your brother?
No, but like we meet there. But I was driving
so you met
myself.
there.
I was driving myself. But
Well,
like,
when you got out of the car, were you like, should be fine?
no. Oh yeah. That's what I thought. Because honestly, like before this happening, I was that dude who was always like, we be good.
Yeah.
Like after shoots, I'll have like all my gear in the car, and then we're like doing a wrap dinner. I'm like, oh, we fine, bro. Like people who carpool with me would be like, oh, should I leave my bag in here? And I'd be like, dude, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's all good. And then of course, like when it happens to me, it's like the worst. It's like the worst possible case, at least that I've experienced ever. And so yeah,
So you come out of the
stuff
gym,
got rocked.
you got the pumping.
What's funny though Yeah, I get the pump in. Good thing you didn't catch me coming out after a fresh pump, you know?
You walk up to the car. As you
No,
get closer.
what's funny is though, I like hop in the car. I don't even realize my stuff's gone yet because it was on the passenger side rear window, and I'm
Oh,
coming in on the
weird.
I'm coming in on the
Yeah.
driver's side, right? So I unlock my car, I hop in. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cold. What the heck? I look back and I see my rear windows like smashed, and I see that some of the stuff in my console's like out. And then like it clicked in my brain at that moment that my car got broken into. But still, keep in mind, I haven't still processed yet. Like all my stuff is gone. So I'm like, oh shoot! Like I must have like left my car unlocked, and like someone went through my glove box. And then I look behind me because I'm driving like a 4Runner, and it's
Oh.
like empty. It's like literally empty. There's not even like, dude, I had IKEA desk legs in there. It took that too. So it's like I looked to the back and they didn't even leave a single
That's
thing,
crazy.
bro.
Yeah.
And so it was at that moment, my heart like dropped.
Wow.
I was like, oh man. I was like, dude, literally, they got everything. Like
So
everything.
I gotta ask. You called me at this moment. You're like, yo, I gotta figure this out.
I didn't know what else to do. I was just kind of like
Yeah.
calling my homies.
Did
Like,
you call? Did you call the police?
I called the police, of
Got the
course.
police report,
I called them first, I think.
which I want to call out.
Yeah.
If there's any chance of an insurance
Yeah.
claim that's going to, win,
Yeah.
the police report actually helps.
Dude, massive.
Yeah.
If you ever get anything stolen, you need the police report. If you don't have the police report, you have no leg to stand on.
Wow.
Because now it's like your word against theirs, and they're just gonna make it terrible for you. And honestly, this is not just camera gear. This is like honestly
Anything.
any insurance, car accident, any insurance related things. Like get a police report.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a huge call out.
Okay, so cops come. What did they say? This typically happens. What'd you leave in the car?
The cops are like,
We're tired, bro.
what's funny is like the cops roll up and they're like, so what got stolen? You gotta make a log. And I was like, some camera gear got stolen. Oh, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, like a backpack. Do you have like a camera in there? Like, do you do this professionally? And I was like, at that moment, I couldn't process. I was like, bro, everything. Like everything. I
Wow.
couldn't explain to him. I was like, bro, I got Pavo tubes, Sony bodies, G Master lenses. I wasn't gonna go in on this dude who didn't even know what any of this stuff was. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
I had a slider. I had tripods, like carbon fiber tripods, Peak Design tripods, like everything in there, dude. At the time too, I like told the cop, I was like, yeah, I think I lost like, because he asked what's the value of what was stolen. They usually ask you that on like the police report. I was so like flustered in the moment. I was like, I think I lost like $20,000 worth of stuff.
Mhm.
I think I said like 15 or 20. And then when I got home and I actually like remembered what I had and wrote it all down like an Excel sheet to like track it all,
Wow.
it was like double that.
Wow.
I was like, bruh. And that's when it like really settled for me of how much stuff I actually lost. And I don't know, it was like a rough time because imagine like your livelihood.
Yeah.
That's how I made money. I opened my gear closet and there's like no cameras. Like,
So it's,
dang.
I mean, for some it's inconvenient when a window gets broken and someone goes through their glove box.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
yo, I
yeah.
gotta fix the window.
Or like get your walls.
But then
torn
it's like another thing to be like, yo, all the tools that I use in order to run my business, whether it's YouTube content or client projects,
yeah.
you kind of had to put that on pause, or you had to rent gear for a while.
No, and like that kind of goes into the community aspect of this, which kind of ties in. I'm super, super thankful for all my friends, all the people that like reached out. It's so funny how like I made a carousel. I was like, hey, like this happened, like we good though, like insurance gonna cover. It was like one of my best performing posts.
Is that one?
I was like, bro, why does like this sad news? I've been pouring my work into some creative endeavor.
I think it's because when people follow you, they're inspired by you. So it's like they're bought in and they're like, wow, he's going through this.
Yeah. And I think it just goes to show like, even though people may not regularly interact with your content, they're not posting like all the time, like you do have a lot of watchers. There might be a lot of people that watch your stuff silently. But during that time, it was really encouraging. Like a lot of people spoke up. I had friends who were like texting me, messaging me, responding to my stories and being like, dude, like I'll ship you gear overnight. Like you could borrow it. Like what do you need? And I really appreciated that because, I mean, obviously it was a very bad situation, but there was a lot of like good community aspect to it that I've never really felt before.
Cool.
And
people came out of the woodwork.
Yeah, and I've never been the type to really throw myself a pity party or anything like that. But it was just cool.
Yeah.
It was like cool to see people that I've connected with over the years in the industry reach out,
Show up.
just show up and just be like,
Bro, I showed up to that candle vigil and I was like, yo, Ed, I got you, B. And then I'm like, all right, I got to get back to work. Grind hard, get money, mother. Edward, you cool? Yeah. But dude, after that day, I remember you took kind of like, you took a creative break because you had to.
I
But
literally had to take a break because I had no cameras.
most
really
frequently
working.
asked comment on that carousel of you posting saying, hey, this is what happened.
Yeah.
I think what I want to ask you what that comment was. But first, I think it was cool because that post, what I took away from it was it's a reminder not to leave your gear out.
Dude,
right?
yes. Like, I was that guy. I'm telling you, bro. Like, I always thought it would never happen to me. And what's so like triggering for me is that like a couple weeks before that, because like holiday time, I would say like theft is always up because
Yeah.
people are like breaking the cars during holiday
It's
season.
crazy.
But also, I saw like several people on my stories go through the same situation as me. Maybe not as much gear,
Wow.
but still, like I saw people like making stories, and every time it'd come up on my feed, I'd be like, "Dang, that sucks." Like, hope it, and then like I would never take it as a warning. So if you listen to this,
Yeah.
don't
That's
leave your stuff in your car,
It's
bro.
crazy to hear me that happened to you in Seattle because I know Seattle's just like a very safe place.
Well, I mean, I live like 30 minutes south.
Bro, I'm
of the
joking.
city.
Seattle's not safe.
Oh yeah, it's not. I was gonna be like, bro, it's ghetto there. What are you talking about?
I don't
Certain
think
parts.
anywhere is safe right now.
No, like any like major city is rough, dude.
So,
But yeah, it was.
so what was the most frequently asked comment?
One of the most frequently asked questions was, did I have gear insurance?
Wow.
It's probably the biggest one. Is like,
Which is a question that I've been asked a lot.
yeah, and I do have gear insurance, which that worked out a lot.
I think
in my
that's the
favor.
bonus and the benefit of you really caring about good equipment is that you also are like, well, if I'm investing this money into, this gear.
I mean, I definitely think part of me always says I was that guy. I was super lax about like having my gear in my car. But a big reason why I felt that way oftentimes because I knew I had insurance. Like worst case scenario, like I knew that
That's fair.
I could like claim it under my gear insurance. Like that's what you pay for.
Worst comes to worst. Yeah.
That's what you pay for. Like why else
Yeah.
do you have gear insurance?
Yeah.
It's that peace of mind. And I will say now that I've been through that process,
It's a lot of.
yeah, it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, which I understand. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of people who try to do like fraudulent stuff with insurance, but in general, yeah, it was like a net. I didn't even break even because like, also this is something to note. If you have insurance, make sure to update your policy because
Ooh.
oftentimes when you get a gear insurance, it's at a time where
You don't have as much gear.
You had a certain set of gear, and then over each year after year, you're accumulating usually more gear. And so, like, make sure when you renew your policy, you add whatever amount, like unscheduled amount, aka like the coverage, right? So, like, mine only covered, I think, like 25,000 worth of stuff, which is honestly, I'm still thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it wasn't like all of a loss, but
okay. So get gear insurance. Make sure you renew your policy. But then I gotta ask, like, what type of insurance do you have that has helped recover it? Because you said there was around like $35,000 worth of stolen gear.
Yeah, it was a lot, and most of my insurances it's kind of like spread across, but for gear specifically, I use Athos.
Yep.
Athos insurance, which I feel like a lot of creators in this.
I use it for like day of productions and stuff.
Yeah, like Athos. There's a few, but that one I kind of just have had. I never researched much, and I never thought I'd have to use it. But honestly, they made it. I would say like the process of it being easy to claim was like a 6 out of 10.
That's how you know this is not sponsored by any insurance company.
Bro, heck no. Heck no.
It's never going to be an easy process, and that's why it's not
real
convenient.
Quick though, like Athos referral link it down in the description. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
MIDCONVO 10. It's never going to work on their website.
No, but like it was it was helpful to have gear insurance. That was one of the biggest frequently asked questions. Obviously too is like with anything that goes anything that does well online or like gets a lot of views.
Yeah.
I feel like you're always gonna get those random people that message you who like come in sideways for no reason.
You crazy dude.
They'll be like, that's what you get, bro, for leaving stuff in your car. I'm like, okay, thanks, bro. Like appreciate you.
I gotta say, what was so cool about following this situation, even though it was kind of like a bummer, is you always were like, you always had high spirits. You're like, yeah, bro, it's fine. Like we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But the insurance took a while. But then also
it just only got wrapped up like I mean, it's been months now.
Yeah.
You know.
But did anyone else reach out and like help out or express, hey, I got you, like brand wise? Because I know you work with a lot of different brands.
Yeah, a few
Nice.
a few brands hit me up, like kind of heard like what happened, and they definitely reached out and were like, hey, if you need anything, like let us know. I think like my personality type is not
It's
really,
weird. It's a weird feeling to be in.
yeah, like my personality type is not, I don't accept help easily. So like even though brands were like, "Hey, we'll help out," like I didn't really view it as an opportunity to like leverage my network and like ask for a bunch of stuff. I like for most of the brands that reached out, I was kind of like, "No, like I appreciate it, but like we're good."
Wow.
I mean, selfishly, because obviously when a brand sends you stuff, like I don't want to be, I was already drowning in like my own responsibilities at that point. But we know when brands send you stuff, it's like there's gonna be some strings attached. I mean, they're gonna send you stuff. Maybe not, but for the most part, you're gonna do some sort of trade. Which I'm at a point in my life where it's like I sometimes probably would just rather like pay for, like instead of doing like a whole reel and like integrating into something, I'd rather just pay for the product
Wow.
and use it. But I appreciated that they reached out and saw that I was struggling. But the biggest one is probably Sony. I mean, Sony.
Shout out to Sony.
Shout out Sony, bro. Sony Cine. Like I've been a Sony user for years now, but they got in touch with me and they hooked it up. They helped me
Wow.
out. They got me set up with cameras when I didn't really have cameras and lenses, and that's like something that I'll honestly never forget. Like
Wow.
even though I'm not like a Sony ambassador necessarily, I'm not like paid by them
Yeah.
in that regard, like I'm like a fan. I'm genuinely a fan, like just based off of like my client experience with them. And so that was super cool to see a brand like Sony show up. And what's crazy too is like you never know, and this is more on the content creator side, but you never know who's watching your content. Like the week before I got all my stuff stolen, maybe like 2 weeks before,
Yeah.
I published a video on my second YouTube channel on like why I think the FX3 is the best camera.
Wow. Just because.
Just because I wanted to, because I love that camera.
It's amazing.
The funny thing is, Sony already saw that video and we've already been in talks.
Wow.
Because that was a sponsor. Like I just made that video out of my own like goodwill, I guess. And so we've already kind of been in talks, and then this thing happened.
Wow.
And so like,
perfect timing.
But what's crazy to me is that you don't know what like the foundations that you're setting or the content that you're posting, or like you just don't know who's watching, and you don't know what will come from it like down the road. So if you feel like you're working on stuff and you're like, man, it's not sponsored yet, or I don't have like huge connections, or I'm not working with my dream brand, it's like just do you and do good work. And I feel like the result will like reveal itself maybe later down the line. Same concept as like doing spec work or adding work to your portfolio that was like low budget, or maybe you did it on your own dime, and then it leading to like literally the biggest gig you've ever had.
You never know who's watching.
You never know.
That's so cool, man. Because I think instead of just like because when bad things happen to good people, it's super easy to be like, screw this, I'm taking time off, I'm done. Right? But instead you're like, I need to come back and I need to figure this out. And I think some people, including myself, if I can be honest, I'm like, Ed's got this. He's Gucci. He's crushing it. But then on the other side of it, I'm like, when I got my car stolen in Miami,
Dude,
2 years ago,
oh my God.
or a year and a half ago, I'm like,
dude, yeah, like literally car gone.
I felt like someone had come into my house and like stolen stuff. It was like that close to me.
Yeah.
So I think I have a question for you. And it's that feeling of, wow, I feel like, something's been taken from me, and it feels really weird because, that those elements, although they're physical, they're things that you like definitely spent a lot of time utilizing.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where you like, this person was following my car, like, I got to be careful about that? Or were you just like, no, it's because I parked in the middle of the gym parking lot and someone took an opportunity to like look in my window with a flashlight? I'm so curious.
That's a good question.
It's a weird question.
It is. But like, I also feel like I did have those thoughts, but I didn't let them like consume me.
That's good.
Because I mean, it could be. I mean, someone could have been tracking me. Someone could have been watching my stuff, and like, I think kind of what you're getting at as well is like, I did feel like it was a violation of my privacy a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like when someone gets like their car broken into. I mean, obviously, like, which would be even worse is like your house broken into. It's like you feel violated. Like, they came into your personal space
Mm-hmm.
and then they took something from
Yeah.
you.
Oh, dude, the things that go through my head is if I was working out with you and I look out the window and someone's pulling out a pelly out of your car, I'm running at them with fist up
Yeah,
like an
dude.
Olympian runner.
Dude.
I'm swinging.
But like what I think what always blows my mind is like the people that have like the like will to do that. Like I could have
That's
walked out
crazy.
at any moment. I mean, obviously they account for that.
Yeah.
Whoever are these thieves.
They're
I
like,
will
oh, he's
say
walking
they
in,
were like they were definitely either A, like
watching you.
prepped for this, or B, like it's not their first rodeo, because you know when someone steals something out of your car, it's kind of like rustled. Like
Yeah.
like they'll kind of like, or they'll like leave stuff behind. Like they'll like quickly scan stuff and like leave something behind. The way it was cleaned out, bro. Like it's like someone pulled up, knew exactly what was like in it or what to do, like had the perfect car size. Because I had a 4Runner, bro. It was packed to the brim. So whenever whoever pulled up had a car big enough to fit all that as well. So it's like, and they had like at least 2-3 people, because it had to have been a quick job.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, that's like me overthinking it. It could have very well just been like a dude, you know, car prowling.
Copy van.
And like I'm sure that they were definitely like organized. But yeah, it was an invasion of privacy, and you know, I'm really glad that they didn't steal some other things in the car.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it could have been worse.
So thanks for sharing. I mean, I've been on projects in Miami since that stuff happened. And I forget that other people know who you are outside of like my world.
Dude, yeah.
And someone brought up to me on set, they're like, yo, that's crazy. What happened to Ed? I'm like, I don't know what Ed you're talking about. They're like, Edward Lee, the gear stolen. I'm like, bro, first time meeting you on set, this individual I'm talking about, I'm like, oh, you follow Edward on Instagram? That's crazy. But I think like that situation, that bad situation, has helped others prepare to maybe avoid that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But let's give people some numbers on now what you were able to get back from insurance, and maybe what was like totally lost after you tolerated everything. Because I think it's cool to hear that insurance did kick in.
Yeah, no, insurance did. That's why I had gear insurance. It'd be kind of an L if I'd been paying for that for a few years, then I couldn't even claim anything. So yeah, they covered about 25,000.
Wow.
A little over 20,000.
Did it come in a check?
Yeah, it came in checks, but like the process is a little weird with insurance. Like, I don't know if it's like standard for a lot of insurances. It makes sense why they do it like this, but essentially what needs to happen is like you compile your list of gear, and then they basically like calculate the depreciation, the sales tax, and all this kind of stuff. And then what they do is they send you like a first amount that's not the full amount that they're going to cover.
Weird.
And then you need to take the amount that they sent you. Let's
buy
say it's like
gear.
12 grand. You need to go buy everything. So let's say they send you 12, but like what they're reimbursing you for is like, let's say 25. You need to basically float that like 12 or whatever, buy all the gear, and then prove that you've bought it through like receipts
to get more.
And then they'll reimburse you for the remaining balance.
Wow.
Which does, I mean, it does make sense though, because like obviously they're not like, you could have like put a bunch of stuff that you didn't even actually lose, and then they just like, cut you a check. So I get that why they do that, but it was my first time going through it. So it was interesting just seeing how the process works. Like if you lose gear and insurance and all that. But overall, I would just say have gear insurance.
Renew the policy.
Renew the policy to make sure it's actually covering all the stuff that you own. Because there's scheduled and unscheduled. Scheduled meaning like usually stuff that's like, no. Usually stuff. So under a policy, there's usually 2 types of gear coverage. There's scheduled and unscheduled. Scheduled is usually things I think that are past like $5,000. They need to actually be listed like with the SKU. So let's say you have like cameras or equipment or anything that's like really expensive. Like the insurance needs to know that you own that they're covering something like that's worth that much. And then unscheduled is like, you're obviously not going to put like $100 accessory item, you know, that's like too many things so that goes under unscheduled, but that has a total amount as well.
Wow.
But you need to make sure that your policy covers everything that you have.
Yep.
And then also just wherever you go wrap a shoot or you're done, like don't leave yourself in your car. Dude, I'm that guy now. Like when I go eat at places after a shoot, which I try not to now. I try to go straight home after a shoot, especially if my car is full.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I bring like my
backpack
inside. And my Pelican, and like whatever I have with me, I try to bring with me inside. And I look like a clown sometimes because I'm going into these shoots with like huge Pelican, a huge backpack, but it's like I'd rather just have it like next to me at my restaurant if it's like okay to do that. Or I'll do takeout and then I'll eat it like in the car with my gear. I'm like super paranoid now.
You know what's funny with that?
I'm sure it'll phase out.
I was just in
eventually, but-
Dallas, and I was with my buddy Billy, and he had his Pelican in his car, and he's like, "I'm just gonna leave it." And we were going into a karaoke bar, and I'm like, "No." He goes back to his car, grabs the Peli, rolls it in, and we chill with it the whole time.
Dude.
And it's like a packed bar, karaoke bar, and I'm like, "Dude, aren't you happy that your gear's safe?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
But like, yeah, thanks for sharing that though, because I think even myself, I've just taken out the SD card in the past and been like, I got the footage, but all that gear is worth money, and it's also going to help you further grow your business. If you don't have those tools, I mean, for even months trying to figure that out, it's going to be hard.
What you said just a second ago was huge. Pull the SD card out. That's one thing I didn't really highlight too much, but like the night before all my Selkas only, I at least took my backpack out that had SSDs with like hot files that I haven't actually dumped yet.
Wow.
Like client projects, like big client projects, like the one that you came to Seattle for, like the multiple 5-figure project was on there. I haven't backed it up, which like obviously if my client's listening, like I have backed up now, but
the files are backed up. Relax.
What I'm saying is like, I thankfully took my laptop out and my files, and I took the SD cards out of the cameras. Like what would have been even like the most detrimental thing is if they stole my gear, that's one thing, but then they actually stole the files that I hadn't backed up yet, and then I couldn't like reshoot those client shoots.
That's tough.
That's an L.
Yep.
So back up your files too.
Yep.
Back up your files, but at the very minimum, if you're tired or you do actually want to leave stuff in your car, at least go home files.
Take your gear
or go.
out. After you take your gear out, back it up.
Yep.
And then go to bed.
Yeah, it literally.
And then wake up and go to the gym in the morning without your gear in the car. All right, Edward, dude, thanks for sharing that, though. I mean, a lot of this I didn't know. I knew parts of it.
Yeah.
But, God. Hey, also, we're going to plug some insurance companies maybe in the comments of the YouTube video. Athos is obviously one that's pretty common and like well known. But we'll share a few others just in case you don't have gear insurance.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and go and cop that. But I hope you guys found value from this episode. And we got Edward Lee back. He's strong.
Yeah.
He's ready.
I went through a little bit of like a little depressed like, boy stage.
Bro, you're in like the recovery season.
I'm in the recovery. I'm good. Because after the gear stuff, went through some seasons of like trying to figure stuff out. And then before you knew it, I was like, bro, I gotta take care of myself. But we back. We back.
And now he's got that skincare routine if you're watching on YouTube. But thank you guys for listening. Go and check us out on YouTube, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.